We're live here. Let me just make this full screen so I can see. Hopefully everybody can see me and hear me. I've been having a little bit of technical issues, so we're just going to go with it. Oh, looks like we're live now. Okay, my name is Emily Lewis, and I'm the owner and founder of Show Me CPR and Personal Safety, where it's our mission to bring affordable, accessible, and convenient life-saving classes to businesses and families in Missouri and across the nation. Now, I'm also the subcommittee chair for American Heart Association's Midwest Regional ECC Committee. Part of our goals for that committee is to host in-person hands-only CPR events all throughout our region. Now, with everything going on in the world, and we're not having our in-person events, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to go live on my page, to interact with you guys, and host a hands-only CPR event. I took some notes because I have a lot of information to share with you guys, so I wanted to make sure that I get it all out. Whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching the replay, if you would do me a favor and comment with your name and where you're from, that way I can take all of your information back to my subcommittee and share with them all the reach that we've had today. Now, first things first, before we get into the hands-only CPR, I do have a few disclaimers. Anyone is welcome to join us. So whether you're joining at work or at home, if you've got your kids there with you, they're welcome to join us. Anybody is welcome to join. Because this is focusing on hands-only CPR, it's not a traditional CPR class and not a traditional in-person class. So we are just going to be, hi Sarah, thanks for joining. We are just going to be skimming the surface of a traditional CPR class. So this online event does not offer an actual certification in CPR. But if you're looking for a certification, make sure you reach out to me. We've got lots of different options, in-person options, blended options, and online and virtual options as well. Now, I'm going to be, also as we go along, if you have any questions or comments, please, drop them below. I may or may not be able to see them or answer them live. If I can, I definitely will, but I will be going back and answering all the questions. So I will be circling back even if it's after I've ended the video. Today, for our hands-only event, I'm going to be focusing on the adult victim. So you can see I've got Preston behind me, our adult victim. So even though we're going to be talking about the adult victim and our hands-only CPR, it is still recommended if you have a child or an infant to provide traditional standard CPR, giving breath and giving compression. If you have questions on that, let me know. All right. So let's get started. What is hands-only CPR? Let me know if you've taken a CPR class before, if you've never had a class before, if you've heard the term hands-only CPR, let me know. For our purposes, hands-only CPR, it's a method of CPR or a different option that you are able to provide. It's where we use our hands only. We are not giving mouth-to-mouth breaths. So our hands only, and we're delivering chest compressions. This is a really good option for those of you that have not had a CPR class before or are not comfortable with our standard CPR and are not comfortable or just don't want to put your mouth on somebody else's mouth. We have found that making CPR simpler and just down to the basics, what we're doing, we're giving the bystander more options. We are empowering them and encouraging them to jump in and help save a life when we need to. Okay, so let's talk about hands-only CPR. Honestly, super easy, 2 steps. First step is call 911. Second is push hard and fast on the chest, right? Seems super easy. I'm going to expand on the 2 steps just a little bit and hope to answer some questions and give you some information. I'm going to get in position here back with Preston, and I'm going to bring my notes. Also, as you guys are coming in, if you are interested in my free step-by-step instruction ebook, First Aid CPR and AED, drop me your email or send me a private message. It's an 11-page full color packet that I can send you, and it's got information on CPR, AED, and first aid. All right. Let me bring my notes and let me get back behind Preston here. Okay. So again, we're focusing on the adult victim, not a child or infant, and we're focusing on hands-only CPR. So this is, again, a really good option for those times where you have found somebody that's not breathing, that's not responding, we're not quite sure what's going on with them. We believe them to be a victim of sudden cardiac arrest, and we need to perform good, high-quality chest compressions quickly while we're waiting for help to get there. Okay, so the first thing is, when we recognize we're in a situation where somebody might need help, I recommend just taking a quick step back, taking a deep breath, trying to take it all in. That way, as we're looking at the scene, we're trying to put all the pieces together, we're figuring out what's going on, we can make sure that we're taking that step back to keep ourselves safe and in turn able to provide service to our victim. It doesn't do us any good if we end up getting in trouble and we need help and being rescued as well. So we want to make sure that our scene is safe, right? As soon as we've taken that step back and kind of seen what's going on and we make sure that we're safe, now we can proceed forward. Okay, next thing we want to do, if they're not already lying flat on their back, we want them to lay flat on their back on a hard, flat surface, probably the ground. Either that's where we're going to find them, or if they're in a couch, a chair, a bed, as quickly as we can, as carefully as we can, we want to get them down to the ground. The ideal place is to have them on a hard, flat surface. That way, when we proceed through the steps of CPR and we get to our chest compressions, then our compressions are going to be maximized because they're on that hard, flat surface. So I've got him on his back on a hard, flat surface. Now I'm going to quickly check for responsiveness. You can do it a few ways. I like to visually look, combine a few things, right? So as I'm visually looking, I'm checking to see if they're moving, moaning, groaning, wiggling around, breathing on their own, responding normally and appropriately, or if they need assistance. So this guy's laying flat on his back. He's not responding. Now I'm going to use my hands just to tap his shoulder, see if he can feel my touch and respond, and then I say something, whatever comes out of my mouth. Typically I say something like, hey, are you okay? So as I'm on my knees next to him, I'm going to get close, and as I'm tapping his shoulder, hey, are you okay? As I'm doing that, I'm quickly checking to see, is he responding normally and appropriately? Can he hear me? Can he feel what I'm doing, right? So it's something like this. Hey, are you okay? And he's not responding. So now I'm visually looking at him. His chest is not rising and falling. He's not responding to my tapping and shouting. We know we can pause and call 911. Now there's different ways we can do it. I typically have my cell phone always on my side, always in my pocket. So you can call 911 from your cell phone. If there's anybody else there with you, you can let them know and have them call 911 as well. It's a good idea to be specific. So let's say it's a bystander and I don't know their name. If I know their name, I'm going to say, hey, Nathan, I want you to go call 911. Tell them I have someone that's not breathing and I'm starting CPR. If I don't know who it is, hey, you in the blue t-shirt, call 911, let them know we're doing CPR. In the same breath, we want to call 911 and send somebody for the AED. Now in AED, it stands for Automated External Defibrillator. We're not going to talk a whole lot about the AED in this course, but if you have more questions, I can definitely answer them. AEDs come in all different brands and shapes and sizes, but think of it as a portable machine like you see on TV where they attempt to shock the heart into a normal heart rhythm, right? It's going to deliver an electrical shock. So depending on what brand and size and shape you've got available to you, grab an AED. It talks to you when you turn it on. It talks to you, gives you all the instructions. Super easy to use, and it's safe to use as long as you follow the directions. Again, we're not going to talk so much about the AED today. I'll do another class on the AED. But the important part of that is call 911, send somebody for the AED, and that way they can go grab the AED, bring it back to you. The faster we have the AED on the person and are using it, the greater the chance of their survival, right? All of it works together. Faster we recognize an emergency, faster we call 911, faster we're starting our steps of CPR, faster we're incorporating the AED. It's really bringing together those links in the chain of survival, and it's raising the chance of survival for our person. Okay, so we found our adult. An adult is considered anybody late teens, puberty, and older, right? So we found our adult. We've got them laying flat on their back on a hard, flat surface, probably the ground. We visually check to see if they're responding normally and appropriately. Hey, are you okay? And they're not responding normally and appropriately. We have enough information where we can now call 911 and get help started, or send somebody else to call 911 and get us the AED. Also, a good information. So I call 911 from my cell phone, typically, right? Call 911, I put it on speakerphone, set the phone down. That way, with the phone on speakerphone, I don't have to worry about holding onto the phone and worried about what I'm doing. But the dispatcher is trained in emergency medical dispatch where they can walk you through those steps of CPR. It's kind of like the calm, reassuring voice that's getting help to you and whispering in your ear, here's the steps you need to do. Here's how you do chest compressions, right? And reassuring you every step of the way. Okay, so we've called 911. We've sent somebody for the AED, which is our step 1 of our hands-only CPR. Remember, call 911, and step 2 is push hard and fast in the center of the chest. Super easy. Now, my little friend Preston here, he's going to light up, and I don't know that you guys will be able to see it on the video, on the camera, but he's going to give me a good judge of my depth, of my rate, making sure I'm doing good, high-quality compressions. We want to set ourselves up for success, and we want to, if any of you are fans of Stephen Covey or have kids that are going through the 7 habits in their school, begin with the end in mind, right? So we want to set ourselves up for success to get in good form, in good position as we're doing our chest compressions, because when we deliver good, high-quality chest compressions, the better off for the person. We'll talk about some of those benefits. So as we're thinking about that, it's not just about performing chest compressions. It's really wanting to understand why we're doing it and focusing on how we're doing it to make sure that we're giving good, high-quality compressions. Okay, so call 911, and now push hard and fast on the chest. So as you want to get in position, I'm going to show you what works for me. I'm generally on my knees, and I generally have my knees about shoulder width apart, right? And I generally give myself some space. That, instead of being right up next to the person, this just kind of helps me with my form. Do what works for you. I'm right-handed, so I like to use my right hand down first. Heel of your hand, center of their chest, mid-nipple line. So it's going to be about right here, and you can kind of feel that on yourself. So heel of your hand, center of their chest, mid-nipple line. Now I'm going to take my other hand, and I like to interlock my fingers. If that doesn't work for you, that's fine. You can figure out a way that works for you, but this just helps to give me good form and helps me to be strong and confident in my form and my compressions. Now, as we're holding heel of your hand, center of their chest, mid-nipple line. I also want to make sure my elbows are nice and straight and locked. I don't want them bent, and I don't want to be way back here. So I look at my shoulders directly in line or directly above their sternum. So I'm like this. So see how, I know you can't see me. Maybe I'll show you sideways. Not a very flattering picture, but I'll just kind of show you. So instead of being back here, I'm nice and directly over them. Nice, good, strong posture, and nice and strong and straight, right? That's going to help with the strength and my stamina from my shoulders, from my back, to really make sure that I'm using my entire body weight to help me with these compressions. When you do compressions, our goal is to press down about 2 to 2.5 inches, 2 to 2.4 inches. Probably like, what does that even mean? If I'm looking at the person sideways, and if I have a ruler, and I'm measuring the 2 to 2.5 inches deep, the side of their chest, that's the depth that we want to be pressing down, right? Kind of a goofy explanation, or goofy thing to think about, because when you're doing compressions, you're looking at them from straight above, not sideways, and you probably don't have a ruler to measure the 2 to 2.5 inches deep. This guy, remember how I said my Preston is going to light up. So he's going to light up to tell me I'm pressing down hard enough. I'm pressing down at the correct tempo. I realize that we don't have clickers to make noise. We don't have lights to light up and tell us that we're pressing down the 2 to 2.5 inches deep. So a good rule of thumb is just focus on your form and get in there. Nice, sturdy, strong, confident form, and press as hard as you can, as fast as you can. I tend to count out loud as I'm counting my compressions, not because with hands-only CPR, I'm counting to any particular number, but when I count out loud, it forces me to count and talk and breathe instead of holding my breath in, right? So I want to make sure that I'm breathing in and out and I'm taking care of myself, because this isn't very easy. It's hard work. You probably have also already heard or seen the American Heart Association campaign where you can sing Stayin' Alive. You can sing, there's several songs, Beyonce and Jay-Z, Crazy in Love, Shakira, My Hips Don't Lie. For those of you that have kids, Baby Shark. You can sing these songs or think about these songs as you're performing the compressions, and that helps us with our tempo, right? So today I'm going to focus on how my mannequin lights up, and I'm going to count out loud so you guys can hear kind of what that tempo looks like. And remember, I'm not counting to any particular number when we do hands-only CPR, because once we start CPR, it's only 2 steps. Call 911, push hard and fast on the chest, and you continue doing your compressions until help gets there and relieves you, right? So this is what it's going to look like for your compressions. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And you just continue doing your hands-only chest compressions over and over and over and over, however long it takes, however many times it takes, until help comes or someone else can come and relieve you. Over and over and over and over and over again. Does that make sense so far? So let me put it all together, and then I'm going to come back up and I'm going to answer some questions. I see some people are checking in, but I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. Okay, so we find somebody, and they're laying on the ground, or they're unconscious, or they're not responding to us, or we're not sure what's happening, but something doesn't look right, right? First thing we want to do, take a step back so that we can assess what's going on in the scene to make sure that it's safe for us to proceed. Once we've determined the scene is safe and we can walk forward towards the person, we want to get them on their back on a hard, flat surface, probably the ground. If they're in a couch, chair, bed, we want to try and get them down as quickly, as carefully as we can, so they're on their back on a hard, flat surface. This is kind of our optimal position. So get them on their back on a hard, flat surface. We're going to visually check them to see if they're responding normally and appropriately, and if they're breathing normally and appropriately. Hey, are you okay? And they're not responding to me, moving, moaning, groaning, wiggling around, breathing on their own. They didn't notice me touching them. They are not breathing normally. When I talk about breathing normally, I'm looking at their chest. I want to know that their chest is rising and falling like normal. If they're gasping for air, it's maybe one breath in that time frame. Agonal breathing, that's not normal breathing. So we need to supplement them. Okay, found them. They're on their back on a hard, flat surface. They're not responding to me. We're going to call 911 or send somebody else to call 911, and we're going to get the AED, send somebody to get the AED. As they're going to get the AED, we're going to start our hands-only CPR. Again, hands-only CPR, we're recommending it for adults. If it's an infant or child, we still want to do the traditional CPR of breaths and compressions. So called 911, sent somebody for the AED. We're getting in position, and we're going to start our continuous chest compressions over and over and over, hard as you can with your entire body weight, over and over and over until somebody comes to help you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and we keep going over and over and over and over and over again, right? However long it takes, however many times it takes, until somebody comes to help you. Super simple for our hands-only CPR. What questions do you guys have? I'm going to come up to see who's all here. All right, Sarah, I will email you my ebook. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Sandy. Yes, absolutely, Lauren. We are a national distributor for a bunch of leading brands of AEDs. We can sell AEDs for you to have at your home, in your car, for businesses, lots of different options. We'll get you the best pricing and set you up with that. Hey, Billy. All right. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know what more information. If you're wanting more information on something, let me know. And I am going to do another hands-only CPR virtual event just like this one, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central. I might have my husband join me for that one. He doesn't know it yet, but I might have him join me for that one. Other than that, if you're catching the replay and have more questions later, just pop on and let me know and I will get back to you. Anybody else that wants, if you're just joining, anybody else that wants my free ebook for my step-by-step CPR, AED, and first aid, give me your email. I'll pop it in the email for you. Okay, talk to you guys later.